welcome back to EVE Online with me, Mark from Dadex, and Furia Severas. We'll have a little check-in on where she is. She's maxed out on the training queue for an alpha. She's over 5 million skill points now. Only way to put her up is boosters, injectors, or the free skill points you can get off of events. So I get them whenever I can. Anyway, relevant for today is Galante Frigate 4. I've just noticed, I didn't realise I've only got Galante Destroyer trained up to level 3, so I'm missing out on 10% tracking, speed and fallout bonus when I did that Catalyst video on the hunt. Navigation is as trained as an alpha can get them, which is isn't brilliant. Engineering, almost likewise, the ones that I haven't quite trained up yet are quite long. Again, no room on that 5 million points, especially as I cross-trained on the ships. Armour, going for level 5 on hull upgrade so I can use the Tech 2 adaptive nano membrane. Shields, not really relevant today, always need some shield skills though. Maxed out targeting skills. Gunnery skills, I've got Tech 2 small blasters, railguns, and medium turrets. I can also use Tech 2s, but we'll get onto that another day. Drones is relevant. I don't like the fact that when they rolled back the alpha limits, they locked these skill points I earned or learnt behind a paywall, but there you go, what can I say. But I've got Tech 2 drones skilled up on the light drones. Can't have Tech 2 medium drones as an alpha. Electronic systems aren't really relevant. Rigging is, it's not something you want to overlook. Armour rigging skill, hybrid weapon skill, very relevant. It's cutting down the drawback of fitting the rigs, which with hybrid weapons is power grid usage. And also armour rigging level 3, which again cuts down the drawback on the armour rigs, which is again increased power grid usage. So that's good. That's all we really need to look at for skills. We can have a look at the character. We do have one implant, which is 2% for the power grid, which isn't relevant today. It was before we'd learnt those rigging skills actually. So that's a little bit redundant right now. That's all we need to know. Let's meet the Incursus. I've not flown an Incursus for quite a long time. This fit, I have to give credit, was built for me by Webifier while I went and had a cigarette in the sunshine. So let's see what we've got. We were thinking of an Astero as maybe the tankiest frigate that an alpha could use. But we went for the Incursus, our old tanky friend. If you look at the hull bonuses on the Incursus, it's a 7.5% armour repair amount and a 5% damage per level of Galante frigate, which we've got maxed out for an alpha at 4. So that's 30% armour repair amount bonus, 20% hybrid turret damage bonus. So that's exactly what we want basically. So up in the high slots, we have fitted light Neutron blaster 2s. Going to use null ammo for the run that we do. And in the rig slots, we have got Nanobot Accelerator, auxiliary nano pump, auxiliary nano pump. The Accelerator makes the repper run faster. But basically, we're going to be able to manage that nicely. These two here are actually putting up the amount of the repair. Down in the bottom slots, we've got the good old magnetic field stabilizer 2. You can see it's still a bit damaged. I've literally run one site, come back. Then I do the fit screen because I don't bother wasting time recording a fit if I don't know it actually works. So there you go. So this is fresh back from running a site. Then we've got a pair of adaptive nano plating 2s, which just boost up our resistances on our armour. We've got the Tech 2 small armour repairer, 155 hit points repaired per 3.8 seconds. That is adjusted by the rigs, bear in mind. In the mid slots, a little bit interesting because we've not used one of these modules before. We've got the Afterburner to keep us moving around nice and quickly, the Weber to slow down the enemies within 10 kilometers so we can hit them nicer, and then here we've got the small capacitor booster 2, which basically is how we're going to regen our cap to keep the repper running. Now, you have to load this with charges. I'm using Navy Cap Booster 200s. Basically, used with, these are the cap boosters that you can use, and it will regen for each cycle the amount. So I've gone for the 200s. Navy Cap Boosters take up less space. They are quite a bit more expensive, but this is, to be honest with you, pushing the limits, I think, of this Tech 1 frigate with these skills, so it's worth having them. This will recharge the capacitor by 200 gigajoules per cycle. I know I've got a capacity of 440, so when I get under half, I can run that. I won't be wasting any, but managing that and managing the repper is basically going to be the key to this. Obviously we've got to get into range to hit the enemies, and with these guns we've got 7,200 meter fall off, optimal of 3,000, so it shouldn't be too hard to get DPS on them. We've just got to stay alive while we're doing it. Now we do have a one drone bay, and I will allow you to choose whichever drone you like to put in there if you'd like to. I just forgot to take one. Basically, Yetfar made the build, I flew to Dodixie in a pod, bought the ship, flew it, found the first site I could, ran it, and came back here and recorded this. So I forgot to take a drone. I know from running the sites with an Algos, it will probably get murdered instantly. I'll talk when we're playing with it about what you might do with a drone. But that is basically the fit, that's everything. We've got 115 DPS unheated. If we simulate the fit, if we go to overheated, it goes up to 132. It's not a huge increase, but it might make the difference, we'll see. We've got 2,654 effective hit points. The resistances aren't really an issue. We've obviously got the boosts from the nano platings. But we're basically going to just be taking thermal and kinetic damage. I think it's actually about 79% kinetic damage and 21% thermal from the Guristas. I've had to reopen the fit screen. I've taken the loot out from running the site. I've kind of spoilt the story a little bit. But there you go. The fit is actually about, rounding it up for the variance, is just under 10 million. So it's not cheap. But is it worth it? There's only one way to find out. These are consumables, the Cap Booster 200s. They cost 50,000 ISK each. We're going to be taking 20 at least out on the site with us. Null ammo, you're probably going to need about 1,200. Now to give us a little extra edge, we're going to take one of these Agency Hardshell Dose 2 boosters, which gives us plus 5% armour repair for 30 minutes. They cost $1 million. I had a couple hanging around in the hangar. They can be worth it, mostly used in PvP, but let's see how this little Incursus is getting on. I don't know why the Thorax has come up here. He can't even get in. There's a worm doing the site, so I move on to low sec where it's nice and quiet. So here I am at the gate. The booster is still in effect, so I've got plus 5% to my armour repair amount. So let's get in. What's the worst that can happen, eh? Right. Not tried this fit before, not flown an Incursus for a while. At first I'm going to have to just get used to the way the ship moves, apart from anything else. So we need to get in, we need to get these guys locked up as quickly as possible. Select one, start orbiting. I'm sure they're all going to come to me. But we do need to make sure the ship keeps moving and that we keep our weapons in an effective range. The Afterburner is going to run the whole time. We're going to manage the armour repairer and we're going to hit the cap booster whenever we get past half cap. So as you can see, we're just going to get in one after the other. They do kind of move in and out of range. The destroyers are very easy to catch. They're pretty slow, as you know if you've ever flown one. The frigates can pull range on you. It might be worth switching target, but just keep an eye on that repper, and then there you go. We fire the cap booster, but you see I've deactivated it straight away. I'm overheating the repairer there just to give myself a little bit of a catch up. You activate and deactivate the cap booster pretty much at the same time. You don't want it to then start second cycle and use the second cap booster and waste a load of it. They are a finite resource and we need them, so do manage that quite carefully. So things are settling down. The DPS has kind of evened off a little bit. The repper is coping very nicely without any more overheating. There you go. We're going to run the second cap booster. Charge. It takes 10 seconds to reload. With hindsight, I think you could metal a cap booster and save probably $1 million on the fit. The difference between them is the reload, sorry, not the reload time, the cycle time, which I think is 3/4 of a second quicker on the Tech 2, which isn't very relevant when we're using these big 200s because we're not trying to sort of pump them and cycle that permanently. Anyway, back to the show. Last one on this first wave. I'm going to speed the footage up to 2 times for the rest of the site. I think you've got the gist of what's going on. Obviously we're in low sec, so I am keeping an eye on local. Luckily we're all alone. If there was somebody around, I'd pop up the D-scan, leave it on 360 scan at about 1 AU range. This is a huge system, so if anything came on that D-scan, I'd know they were sniffing around the gate and be able to decide what to do. But anyway, we're getting on with this very nicely. Going to go to town on this worm. It's trying to nute us. With this cap booster, I feel no nute pressure. at all during this sight, which is a very nice way of doing things. Onto the caracal. We're going to get in quite nice and tight on him. He's pretty quick for a cruiser. We're doing okay on the speed, but we chase him around a little bit, getting nice and tight. Keep the repper running. It's just a question really of keeping your cool and just managing things. Another way you could vary the fit would be to put in the resistance specific plates rather than the adaptive plates that I've put in. So just one for kinetic, one for thermal. It gives you maybe a few more % resistance on each of those, but as I do venturing out of low sec so much and could get into a fight, we tend to keep those so kind of things a little bit more balanced. So that is a variation you could do. Right, that wave's down. Everything is going fine. The way you could really mess yourself up is probably just letting the cap booster waste a charge. I'm moving the ship up towards the gate. You never know. Next wave's coming in. They're coming in fast. And I'll just make some emergency overview adjustments so we can see who's doing what to us. So we've got the worms coming in, neuting us. The cap boosters relieving that cap pressure, as I said. And we're just keeping that repper running. Overheating it there. We took a bit of a dip. You get a bad whack off one of these worms. And yeah, they can do almost double damage on you in one hit. So do keep an eye on it. Thermodynamic skill I've got trained up, I think, to level 4, as high as an alpha can get it, which is what mitigates the damage you're taking when you overheat your module. So it is a handy one to learn. Here I've clattered into the scenery. I lose all my speed. I double click out into space just to get me moving away. I'm pulling myself out of range of the cormorant, so I switch target over onto that bantam, so I'm not wasting too much ammo. Keeping the rep managed, keeping that cap recharger fed, and every time I get below half capacitor, you just hit it again. I do let it run down a little bit lower sometimes. The great thing about the cap booster is that you get the injection of capacitor instantly you press the button. So you can cut it a little bit fine. The bantams go down very quickly, I'm pleased to say. Now let's see, how are we getting on with this gate? Is it unlocked yet? No. I'm just making sure I get kind of into a bit of space, literally, so I don't clatter into anything else as we get ready for this next wave. What have we got now? All these worms. Again, look at all these newts. 4 newts on me, and I'm not feeling the panic that I was when I was out in the catalyst, that's for sure. Just making sure I don't over-rep. I don't want to waste any capacitor, be too complacent about it. There's times when I know oh, there you go, some big hits there. We're going to overheat, overheat. Get a bit of armour back on our bones. But no, it's all going okay. And now as we're killing these guys, the incoming DPS starts to go down. And things get a little bit calmer, and we recover from that little shock that we just had then. But those of you that have seen a few of my videos will know now that getting into hull is nothing new. And what is the point? Always time for a screenshot as well. What's the point of having a hull if you haven't got some scratches on it? I say, then you know which one's yours. There are many Incursus, but this one is mine. No Blackbird on this one. They'll pop up an ECMU, but obviously if they're jamming you, you go and kill them because they can't stop you from locking them. So ECM, kill the thing that's actually jamming you. If that is proving to be a problem, let's get in on this cormorant. And this bit's actually cheaper than the destroyers that I've used to do these sites. Yeah, the Incursus is really, really pleasing me. I'm going to have to fly this a little bit more and see if I'm going to get into trouble in this one. It's not taking any longer that I'm noticing to do the site either. And then they're all dead. And we've now got an active acceleration gate. So we're just going to have a little rest, get everything reloaded, collect our faults and get ready for the one-on-one. And as we've seen in the other video, and I've seen from the other sites, this is a fast and frantic fight, and it can be quite different, dependent on the fit from the fight you have in the first room. So let's see, we're preheated on the reps, we're preheated on the blasters. This guy, I assume, is going to charge in on us very quickly. We're going to orbit at 1,000, we're going to afterburn, we're going to control range as much as we can, but look at that. He's hitting us hard already. We're overheating, we're repping. We're closing range on him now, so our DPS on him should start going up. Can we live long enough? This is good, this is fun. I'm really enjoying doing this in the frigate. It's certainly, if you're not used to the kind of fits that require a little bit of management, this isn't the most complicated one by any means. It is a little bit of a change of pace. He's in half armour now. We're winning, but he has got some reps to give. Come on, we've got nice range on him now. I think, again, we could have probably reloaded Null in here. We're staying in tight enough on the range to be doing a bit more DPS to him. But lesson learnt, we'll try that if we try this another time. There you go, he's down. What did we get? Come on. At least I'm not in a destroyer with no prop mod today. Hey, there you go. 35 million, not a bad little haul at all from our 9-10 million Incursus, and that was really good fun. I've really enjoyed using that on this site. Well done yet far for the fit. We managed without the single drone we could have brought. I couldn't imagine using that as anything else other than a smoke screen, in that you'd put it out to take the aggro if you were in a bit of a pickle, so you could warp out. Maybe they drop the scramblers and disruptors from you. Otherwise, I can't really see what use a single drone would be on that site. So, with many of our modules gently roasted, we're going to head back home in the mighty Incursus. I'm really chuffed that I managed to pull this off with an alpha in a not blingy, no faction bits on it at all fit. Guys, I'll be back. I've got an Algos bid to put up just to show you the drone management of a man that doesn't manage drones too often, certainly not that frantically. That'll be up very soon. Please leave us a comment, leave us a like. It's really important. I love your feedback. That's the main thing for me. Those of you that say hi in game, thank you. I love it. Don't be shy. Always welcome. We are looking at a way of kind of getting some of you guys involved directly in game, taking him into low sec. Drop ThinTrash. The altern's name is in the description. A little email if you'd like to kind of be contacted if we're looking at that. For now, guys, just take care. Have a good Easter. It's a bit of a weird Easter. I'm sure the Easter Bunny will get to you in some way. But for now, fly safe. Have lots of fun. Remember, even is believing. Even if your ship is tiny, it can be mighty. Take care. And for now, goodbye.